welcome everybody. My name is Andres, and I will be your host today. Today, we are going to be talking about Q, which is a virtual agent to support the AWS community. And to talk about this, we have with us the creator of this tool, Hazel Saenz. Let me bring you up. Hello, Hazel. How are you doing?
Hi, Andres. I'm really happy to be here. So thank you for the invitation. But I'm good. How about you?
Cool. I'm doing great. Is it so? I usually said your name in Spanish, but in English, is it Hazel or do you still pronounce it Hazel?
No, it's the same. It's Hazel.
Okay.
So you pronounce it right.
Good, good.
All
So,
good.
so tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you?
Yeah, who I am. Well, I I am a cloud software architect. I've been in developing software for around 20 years. I don't say that too much because they are starting making numbers about my age, and I'm really young. So I started coding like I was like 5 years old. No, that's a lie. But yeah, I have 20 years experience creating application. I have been created like all kind of different application, mobile, banking, websites, and for all the years. But in the last years, I am working mostly AWS and cloud application. So I am pretty active in the community. I am the leader of the user group in Guatemala, and I am an AWS hero. Last year, I was selected, and I'm really happy about it. But that's who I am.
Congrats, congrats. And as of last year, I've had the privilege to work on the same place as you. So
Yeah,
uh, it's
yeah,
great.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Great. So thank you. Thank
And
you
I also
for
found Harry Potter. I think it's obvious because I am in
yes.
many stuff about Harry Potter and in my back.
Yeah, I
But
see
yeah,
Harry
I am.
Potter and the puzzles. Yeah, I guess yeah, I see Harry Potter and the
Yeah,
puzzles as well. That's cool.
yeah, I'm a Hufflepuff. That's why I have this scarf in there.
Nice. Are you excited? There's a new movie coming out.
It's a new series, but yeah, I'm
Series.
waiting for
Okay,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see I'm not huge, so I
No.
don't know that much.
I need to
Great.
bring you to
So
that club.
yes, we'll do a book club to read all the books and talk about
Yeah,
everything.
for sure. And for last but not least, but I am the creator of Q. That was what you mentioned before. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
Go ahead.
very interesting. I've been seeing a lot of around Q in the last few days. Q, not just the letter Q, it's KIU, which stands for. Why don't you tell us what Q means first?
Well, to select the name of this agent, we run a contest in the community from all Latam, across of Latam. We open a form and everybody can go. We create the mascot of the agent, and we say, okay, let's be creative. You can select the name and tell us why you want to select that name. And the selected one was Q. And it's because it's Q is a quetzal, that is the national bird of Guatemala. That's why it's green and everything.
Mhm.
uh, and if when you pronounce it, it sounds like a little bit like Q. Like it's so cute. So that's why the creator said it sounds like so beautiful. So that's why it was selected. But right now, what it represents is like all that work that we did together. That we come together to decide which name, and was a really fun dynamics in the community day of Guatemala last year. We present the name of the agent, and we bring our to Erica, that was the who baptized the put the name of Q,
Mhm.
and he get a swag and everything. So it was a really fun activity, and that what Q represents, all the passion and the excitement of the community behind it.
Yeah, and it goes to show, right, and even from the start, from the name, right, and you mentioned you're very heavy in your community involvement, but even to select the name and just it's a tool for the community, but it's also feels like by the community, right? So that's awesome, getting people involved in even the name.
Yeah, it is. Basically, I have like 3 years pretty involved in the community. The community has been a role player in my career so far. So that's why I like to do so many talks and articles, and that was the idea behind Q. So why not? That is an agent to help the community that has all the work and everything made by the community itself, right? So I am only the one to say, look, this is a good idea. Come help me, and we are building together.
Yeah. And I've seen several of those projects just take off and do some good stuff. So um, love the initiative and the idea there. So we talked about the name, right? And it's so cute. It's cute.
It is cute.
Yeah, and every all the pictures I see around the blog post or just when you're actually going through the chat, it's the little bird, right? And it is actually a cute bird. So, but now why don't you tell us about what what Q is, right? Not the name of the bird, but the actual
Is the
application of it.
Axie application? Well,
Yes.
well, Q is a virtual agent that was developed with full serverless architecture and is using Amazon Bedrock to provide information about the AWS community. In the beginning of the project, it started like we want to have an assistant to help inside of the community from Guatemala because we are in that time we were organizing the community day. So we have a lot of work to do around and too many people that wants to come and help us and have questions and so and everything. So the idea to have Q, like, it was a good idea because it's gonna help us to give that information to all the people that it wasn't involved in the community, that doesn't know about any user group, or even maybe the first time they heard about the community at AWS. So that's why we create Q to help in our community. But after that, like, we start creating. I have a session in Mexico and I talk about Q and the idea behind it. And the user group leaders come reach to me and said, "Oh, that's good. Can I use it in my community today?" I said, "Yeah, you can. We can do it if you want. We can change it." And with that idea, Colombia come with me and we add some new changes in there for we can not only have the information from Guatemala but also Colombia. And Q was in the community day of Colombia,
Okay.
and like all spread out. And they say, "Oh, we have it in Colombia. Why we don't have it in Mexico? Why didn't have it in Chile?" That's the way that Q has been evolving so far. So it it was born for a little idea about helping me in my user group, and then it was someone that it was helping in the community days, in the event itself. But
Hmm.
with the time goes by, we realized that Q can help a little bit more because we have so many different of profiles that came rich to the community that sometimes you are afraid to even ask in the WhatsApp groups, or you don't even know where is going to be a session and you're going to go and meet a person. So we decided, okay, Q was good in the events itself, but between events, Q is like, I'm okay. I'm going to rest. I'm going to wait the other event. So we
Yeah.
said, no, Q needs to work in the meantime. So we started to think it to add more information about the community, not only the user groups, not only the events, not only the session that we are already hosting in the user group, but also the information about how can you join a community. How, for example, if I am learning about Lambda and I want to go and identify, create like a study guide or something about Lambda, Q will help you to build it. And also, we are adding the content that the other members of the AWS community are creating in daily basis, like the article that the community builders are writing, the heroes are writing articles about it. There are many AWS experts that are writing articles about new services, a problem they may have. So Q knows that information and will give it to you if you just ask. So that's why we see the power behind it. Of course, we have a lot of work to do, but uh, that was the intention of it, to get you, like, someone that doesn't know anything about AWS, they can have a place to go and ask, okay, what is AWS? How can I start learning about it? Help me through it and start answer your question in your own language.
And that's where it went because, well, it was an agent first, right, to help you with like community stuff, and it went from virtual agent to like virtual cloud guide, right? So not
Yeah,
just
it's a
not
companion
just
now. Yeah.
yeah. So
It's
it's
your body
grown,
now.
and that's great. I didn't know it was aware, like from you mentioned community posts and all that. Um, that it is it providing that information, or is it getting that information somewhere to be able to respond with from the specifically from the community's content?
Yes. Yes, that's the latest part of the architecture that have been work. It's been finished just last week, the articles integration that we have. So right now we are getting information directly for Dev2, that there are some places that is specifically for community builders or for heroes and the AWS in Espanol. We are getting those articles, and we are given all that information through a knowledge base to Q, and Q knows about it and will recommend those articles to you. But beside that, we are also working in another integration, not only to get from Dev2, but we are working in an integration to full AWS original content, like the blogs for AWS,
Okay.
the podcast of AWS. We have a lot of another famous AWS guys out there. They already share with us their content, and we're adding that part. So Q is growing, and we're trying to get the specialist of the topic of AWS to Q, for they can help to anybody that just want to learn about AWS.
That's great. I mean, it's going to be very smart to be able to ask any type of question once you feed it all this information. Would it include something like the AWS, the community blogs that from AWS as well? Is that would that be
That's
possible?
part of the plan. In there, we have, like, each time that we want to Q grows a little bit, we came with excitement, but a lot of challenge, in technical challenge in some cases.
Yeah,
The blogs, we already have figured out how we're going to build it. The podcast, we already knows how we're going to do it.
nice.
But the AWS community, that the blog, the website itself, is not that easy. So we're in there, we're going to use like web scraping,
Hmm.
the website and everything. And that part is also in the map, but we need people to actually come and help us to build that. So we want to get all the information we can, because that's one of the goals, the AWS community blog. And but we also want to include, for example, YouTube channels. For example, yours, you are transmitting now, you are creating content all the weeks. We want to add you in there, and the Q knows about it and can say, you're gonna be having a session next week, or you're even you can go and watch the ones you already have.
Mhm.
That part is another part that we want to add to Q, and we have it in the list. But again, we need hands to do it because it is so much that we having a team like 5 person right now, and we are like swamming a lot of things that we need to do. So
Well, and it's taken into consideration that this is aside from your full time job, right?
yes,
So
yeah, this is
usually
my
how
hobby.
any
So
yeah,
we don't have
and
like these 8 hours to do it.
but it's part of the fun thing that we have that our hobby aligns kind of with what we do for work, right? So kind of ties
Yeah.
in there, but you add to the sense of the community, and get a chance to connect to people. And there's types of connections that you can't make just by talking. Once you code together, those are very meaningful connections.
Yeah. Once you debug a bug together, that friendship is forever.
Yeah, you're gonna what you've gone through stuff. You can get past anything now.
Yeah. 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 So that's the goal. And yeah, do you have the opportunity to work on something that is also part of our hobby? I think that is a really good, a cool stuff to do it because uh, all the technology that we are using behind Q, we are also putting in place in the office and everything. So it's aligned to everything in the latest technology and everything. So that is really cool about it.
It's a win-win situation, I would see it.
Yeah. Yes.
Cool. So do you want to run through it? I know you have a demo just to see it. I played around
Yeah,
with
let
it, but
me
I want to
show
see it
you.
from your lens. There might be buttons I didn't hit, that should have cool
Let's
information.
share my screen and
Okay,
tell
I'll
me
bring it up.
if you can see it.
I see it. I'll add it. Um,
Great.
yeah, I see our little bird.
Okay, so that's cute. And you see it, oh, it's really cute. So he's
I
cute.
agree.
And like I mentioned, is our virtual assistant. Now Q is evolving. It's not like the assistant of the user groups, only the user groups. Now it's for everybody. And the main topics that is often right now is creating a personal study guide. For do that, Q utilize the information about the events that the community is creating every day. We're using Meetup to actually feed them, and they know what is the event that's going to happen. So they create a study guides based on that, and the other context about the AWS and the topic itself. We also generate a schedule about the events. For example, if you have a community day, if you are a user group leader and you have a community day, then you're gonna have like 30 sessions running in the same day, all in different rooms and everything. You can create your agenda, and Q will help you to your assistant can say, okay, I want an agenda based on serverless. I only want to know about serverless in this community day. Q will tell you, okay, you can go into this session. They're going to happen in this time, for you can try to get the most of the event that is fits for you. And the other part is that it used to connect the AWS experts and communities because they will give you how you can go and reach them. They will tell you, you can click in here and go to this website, or you can go to this WhatsApp group, or you can go to a Slack channel, and you can start talking about with them. And you will actually start to build that relationship because at the end, Q is a virtual agent, but the magic will happen when you get to the community. You get inside with the community and make friends with them. So
Yep.
this is just like, come on, you can do it. Go ahead. This is the address. Go ahead and do it. And then you can go to the event itself, right?
Yeah, it's breaking that barrier, right, and getting you the information you need, and like it's saying there, right? It's tailored to you for what you want, right? And it starts by attending a serverless event, right, or something related to Bedrock or anything, and you get to meet the people, and the goal is, like you said, it's not within the tool itself, but the what gets built upon it.
Yes, exactly. And in here I put like a QR code for if you want to start play with them, or the audience is there and they want to start to ask, thank you, please do so. Uh, if you see a bug in there, please let us know, because we are a bunch of developers and a bunch of builders behind it, but we are not testers. So probably we're gonna find you're gonna find a bug, and we need to know about it. So please let us know for we can start fixing anything that is broken. Okay. So let's go and talk about the technical stuff, because that's the part that I love. I love all
Yes.
the purpose of the application, but I am a builder, so that's why I'm
Well,
doing
and
this.
again, it's you started this to learn, right? And this is the
Yeah.
project that you started to learn. So it's awesome to see first you actually learned it, but it growing into something else. So I love it.
Yeah, and each time that I try to learn something new, or even someone in the team, they want to learn about a new service, or new service or something, we're trying to uh, he go and start to play with it and actually build it, for because in that way he's gonna learn a lot of it, right? So each time that I learn something new, I try to and apply it to Q, and that's our playground, like they said. But
That's awesome.
here I put like a diagram. This is only a high level diagram, because Q is growing a lot behind it. But this is basically what is the main different service that is being part of Q. Okay, Q was born only to be an agent to be used using WhatsApp. That was the first version of Q. You are using WhatsApp, and in here you can ask questions, and we have a backend, an API that receives the message from WhatsApp, and then he sends it directly to an agent. In that part of the story, I only have one agent that will reply to all the requests that is being made about with WhatsApp. The main goal in here was capture all the messages, ensure that we have like a historic of the message that we are sending, and we want to guarantee that the information that you're receiving back, it was accurate, right? So that was the first approach, and we're collecting all that information. We are using DynamoDB in there, so all the information is being stored in there. Okay.
Okay.
Later on that, we create the part of the user groups portal. Why? Because, like I mentioned in the story, what happened that after it was in WhatsApp, everybody wants to use it. So we create a portal for the user group itself. The leaders can go register and register the user group, because before it was manually. Every time that a new user group wants to add his community, they reach to me, and I go and added everything to the tables and everything. So we
Hmm.
built that, and that part was the part that was built and was presented in reInvent last year.
Okay.
So after that, we already have the information about the communities. In that moment, we create the integration with Meetup. So every 4 hours in the day, we're going to collect all the new events in the Meetup API, and we add that information to the table that we have in Queue. Okay, for all the user group that is registered. So if you have a user group and you want to be part of Queue and you haven't registered your user group, please do so. You can go and register, for you can actually start it to see it in there. Okay.
Okay.
So that part is a proposal that we are running with the AWS user group leadership, and trying to get to everybody. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome. Let me pause you a little
yeah, go.
bit. You just told me that the diagram's not showing, so I'm gonna click some buttons, see if I can
Really?
get it. Yeah, I mean, I know I see it and you see it, but
Yeah.
I changed something there. So let me see. Because I'm watching the YouTube, the live YouTube. Yeah, okay. I think it's
Now
visible
it's
now.
there?
Yeah.
Great.
So sorry about that, but I don't know what happened because you and I was seeing it
Yeah.
fine. So something with StreamYard, but
Yeah. Well, pretty much what I was talking about was this part about WhatsApp that is
mhm,
here, and the other part that is here that is the portal for the user group leaders. Okay. And in that point in time, we're having the integration about Meetup, and we also having the integration with Sessionite. In the user group, not in all of the user group, but at least in the Guatemala user group, we use this application that is called Sessionite. And I know that several user groups are using it to actually get all the information about the session and the speakers and select them and everything. So we connect to that application to get all the session that the user group, that the organization team approves, and
mhm.
we get that information and we add it to Q for Q have the capability to create that custom agendas about the event itself.
And because
Okay.
yeah, I've used Session Nice, right? And it's for the call for papers, right? CFPs for
CFP.
more event style, right? So I'm assuming the Session Nice piece is used separately than Meetup, right? Because the Meetup, it's you don't usually well, I don't you don't usually have like a CFP for and have multiple concurrent sessions and all that. So I can see the two um, being part of this. So
Yes, they're
good to
separate
know.
because what you mentioned in the meetup, you only have like one session, or yeah, one session, maybe two speakers, and that's it. But
Hmm.
when you have a community day, you have a lot of session, a lot of speakers, and you have a call for papers, and all the process session that really helps you to actually can go and validate all the different uh, proposals, and you can select it and everything. But once you have approved them and the speaker confirmed that session, then we can have it in queue.
Okay.
And that is really powerful because if something in the middle of your event change, like sometimes, I'm not saying that happen often, but sometimes the speaker doesn't show up, or something in the logistic that wasn't run well, and you need to change the agenda, you need to move a session to another place or something. If you go to SessionNet and change it, Q will know about it and will be able to answer about that change. So that is something that's happened automatically, and we just don't do anything. We already developed that part and we're happy about it.
That's awesome. And because what was it, like a month ago, I had a conversation with David around that, right? And David has organized AWS community days and more things. He says the most common thing is, I mean, you have all your sessions, and then I had to push this one back for 5 minutes, and now it pushes back everything and lunch, and so
Yeah.
doing that automatically has been, I think it's key, and you're the second person I talked to that mentions that problem because it
Yeah.
happens, right?
Yeah, it is what it happens when you are running a community day, is because you can control everything. So that's why we need to get the most of it out automatically that is impossible because you
Hmm.
will not gonna have the time to change everything, believe me. So that's
Yeah.
why we created and try to put that to all the user groups they want to use it, right? So, and that's the part that we are, like I said, that we want to reinvent. So now what we are launching this week in this session, so this this is like the go live, is the part of the article that I was discussing with you. So we create the integration with Dev2 for now, and for Dev2, we only run it once a day because we don't have too much changes in just one day. So we run it once a day and we get all this information for three different places. They have in Dev2 we have like different groups that when you create an article, you can say if I am a hero, I can add it to that part of this group of the heroes. Or if I am a community builder, you can add it in there. Or if you are writing in Spanish, you can go and add it to AWS Español. So
Mhm.
we are getting these three groups and we're getting all the different articles. 4Q can actually knows about that and recommend it to everybody so they can go and actually read it. The something that was important is that the meetup, the session, and the information about the user group, we use an integration. We create an agent. That agent have actions, and the actions goes to an API, like it is in here. It goes to an API and get the information about it. So we have it. We have that information in Dynamo. Why we do it that way? Because it was way too expensive to have everything in knowledge base and we don't have too much money. This is a community project, so
Yeah.
we're trying to get the cost the most low that it can be. So that's
Yeah.
why we followed that approach. But with the articles we did change the a little bit. We create the first knowledge base, but instead of using OpenSearch we are using Pinecone. Why? For prices. Pinecone is offers a free tier. So all the articles, we get it from Dev2, we put in an S3 bucket, and this information goes to Pinecone, and then we configure a knowledge base in an agent, and we're getting the information from in there. Why? Because we have it's not like we're going to have like 10 user groups or 100. We have a lot of articles. Once we
Yeah.
get that API, oh, we have a lot of content. So that's why we follow that approach.
Yeah,
And
there's content getting created daily on all those three channels, right? The Spanish, the community builders, and the heroes. So much good content. So I'm glad you're doing this. But yeah, I'm. It's interesting. I mean, a lot of the decisions you'll have to make are financial because, like you mentioned, it's a community project and
yeah,
it doesn't have funding, right? So it's not.
yeah,
You wouldn't
that
want to have
that
to pay
is
for that.
the reality. So that's something that we have to live day to day. So that's why
Hmm.
we are trying to minimize cost in there. But we actually are learning about it because if you realize when we are in a daily basis, our customer they also want to save money.
Yeah.
So if we do it in here, we're going to be prepared for the real projects in real life, and we're going to say we always going to think first in something that it completes the functionality, but it's safe, uh, cost savings, right?
Yeah, and
So
you'll understand the trade-offs, right, of
yeah,
one versus the other, which is super valuable.
yeah, and we're testing this part. It could be that Pinecone is going to grow too much in the future, and then we're going to need to invest something. So you're probably going to see a post. So we are looking at sponsors in the future. If that
It's what I was going to
happens
ask
someday.
if because
Yeah,
if you're looking for sponsors, it doesn't have to be in the future, but I'm pretty sure there's people that would love to sponsor this, right? To keep it running, because it's
yeah,
valuable for what we
we
do.
always welcome our sponsors. Right now, the main sponsor of this is AWS. AWS is trying to get some credits and everything, so we are not like spending too much of it. But
Hmm.
even with the credits, we know that we are having, for example, the models and everything is not covered by the credits, so that part
Hmm.
it comes from us. So that's the downside. But we're trying right now with Michael. So far, is doing good. We are having we are not reaching the limit of the space in there, so the storage in there. So we're fine with that. But we also adding a new website uh, that allows you to talk with Q beside WhatsApp. Why? Because in Reinvent, someone reached to me and said, "Oh, you have an agent, but you're using WhatsApp, right?" Yeah, but you can do it in a different platform and everything. I said, "Yeah, because I cannot use WhatsApp in China, for example."
Mm,
Oh, yeah, you're
okay.
right. You cannot use WhatsApp. So we create a website. And then I also start thinking about like a user and said, not all the time I want to go and using in WhatsApp. Sometimes I'm working or I'm studying something and I want to have it in my browser. So I can go to my browser and just start talking with them. So that's why we created in here. This is the first version. We're still working on that because we need to add like the register in here. We don't have it yet. Like using Cognito and everything, you need to create
Mhm.
your account. That part is work in progress, but that is the plan that we're having it in there for you can pretty much the same feeling that you have when you go to use the other models that are there like ChatGPT or Claude. You can go and actually uh, interact in the same way. That's the goal.
Yeah, and I don't know if that the QR code you shared, and maybe you can go back one slide because it apparently wasn't showing, but the QR code is is taking you directly to the chat.
It was, but I changed it.
Okay.
Now it's taking you like a link tree. In there, you're gonna have all the different links for you can go to WhatsApp, or you can use it in the browser, or even you can go and follow in our LinkedIn page. We just create that, and in there we are using to send the the message about new functionality that we are adding. To you can see the team and met the team behind Q because it started like my idea, but again, it's not only me that is coding in there. We are a team of builders, and we want that everybody knows who they are because they are doing this in the spare time, and they are learning with us, and they are actually getting this with too much passion to only provide it to the community because this is completely free for everybody. It's never going to be charged like the other model that I just mentioned before. But this is free forever. So because it's part of the community itself, we want that Q is one member of the community, and they can help
Mhm.
you to go and learn and everything, right? Yeah.
Cool. And
And you have any question about the architecture?
no
Yes.
questions. It's well, the question is, I mean, we talked about price and why you chose Pinecone, but any other piece where either you struggled or you see opportunity to use something different, or just in general in the architecture, any shortcoming
Yeah,
with what you currently have?
we had a problem like 2 months ago, just after reinvent, that we started to notice that each time that Q grows, the performance of Q was lower and slower and slower. So that was a challenge because we want to identify why. What is happening? And we realized that each time that we are adding a new functionality, our prompt is getting bigger. And each time that the prompt is bigger, the performance of the agent will decrease, right?
Okay.
So how we solve that? We add in the last releases of reinvent of multi-agents, and we are using now a multi-agent. So in here you have the supervisor agent that is receiving all the different questions, but behind this supervisor we have agents that are specialized in the different functionality of use. So
Okay.
one agent is go directly for the information of the communities. The other agent is going to handle all the events. The other agent is handling all the articles, and so on. So that allows us to have the speed that we need in queue, because now you can go and ask them, it's gonna take him forever to answer you.
Mhm.
That was something that it was concern us, because the at the end, the the user interface is really important, because even if you know that you're going to give you all the answers, you're going to take forever to give it to you, you will not going to be use it, right? So that's why we're focused on that part. And we're trying that now, this approach, we get a lot of questions when we're doing it, because it's so fresh, a new feature, and we have like to read the documentation and try to speed up everything to actually uh, be able to have it at this time, because it's not too much since reinvent, and like you said, we
Mhm.
don't have the full time to actually do it. But it was fun to do it, and now that it's working, say, oh yeah, it's good. But to implement it, it was an extra effort that we added. So,
Okay.
but it's good because we learn about it, and we know that we are using the latest. And another change that we did is to we changed the model that was behind Q. Q was running with Cloud 2.5, the version 1, and we changed it, and now we are using HiQ.
Okay.
Why? Because when I started learning about Amazon Bedrock, I just select the model because it was the obvious, is the last one, I'm going to use it. That's
Mhm,
the
mhm.
truth. But
Yep.
now that I'm going a little bit in deep and understand why you should select your model, what features that you're looking in each model to actually can uh, to be specialized in what you need. We realize that we don't need that too much power about coding in Q, because Q is not helping you code.
Mhm.
So that's why we made the decision and changed the model. And now it's processing a way too fast that it wasn't in the beginning. So that is something that it was good because we learn. Like I said, this is the playground and we are learning. Uh, but yeah, that's the biggest challenge that we have so far.
They don't seem too bad, but it seems like you've learned a lot from just this, right? That's awesome. Have you looked into any other models that would seem interesting? Right, one that comes to mind is, and I haven't played around with it too much, but like Nova, it might
Yeah.
provide some good things, or
Yeah, I am tempted to use it, but I want to use it because I know that right now we are only processing text, and we
hmm
are sending back text pretty much. But we're wanting to use Nova by creating not only the agenda, like the test of the agenda, but actually creating like a PDF files and everything.
hmm
But that is something that it is into the wish list. Sometime we're gonna do it. But yeah, I'm tempted to actually use it.
That's great. And how about on the integrations with Meetup and Sessionize and Dev2, right? I know there are some APIs that are very easy to interact with, and then there's some that aren't. Are these three pretty straightforward, or?
Meetup has its trickiest. uh I think that is the one is was the hardest, because they use a PEM file to actually
Mhm.
validate the connection.
Mm,
And once you have that connection established, then the documentation is not like straightforward, so it takes us a little while to actually understand it and try to use it that way. Once you have that token, then you can go and use the API and everything. But in here, with Meetup, I use step functions to do it. So
okay.
the other one is really fast, because you only need like a key or an AP and an endpoint itself, and you get the information. But with Meetup, we have that you need to use uh, keys, and you need to use the pen file and everything. So in here, we are using secrets, we are using step functions to get, not only you get the connection, you get the token, but in the same time you're getting all the information about the communities that you have stored, because the community is already registered, and get the actually name of the page of meetup in there. So
Mhm,
we
mhm.
combine that information to get and extract all the information regardless to these events. So that was the one that take us more time to do it. That part I haven't worked like completely. One of the members of the team is specialized in that part, because it
Okay.
was a lot of effort in there. So his main focus was meet up and try to understand what's
How to
happening in
get the
that
connection.
documentation. And he learned a lot of in that part. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, this is again seems simple. I know there's more to this in than this diagram, but as far as the services that you're using and everything seems to be the simpler ones, right? Like API Gateway and Lambda and
Yeah, I'm
I
using
see Amplify with
Kinesis
React.
also in here. I didn't put it in the diagram. I'm using Kinesis. I'm using Evenbridge to get Kinesis. I'm using it for the articles. I get
Okay.
all the articles and send them to Kinesis, and Kinesis write all this information in an S3 bucket, and from there they send it to Pinecone.
Okay.
So yeah, we have some really fun stuff in here.
Yeah, like you said, it's a playground, but an actual kind of production playground for you to try new things, and you can even evaluate. Right, you can see, hey, once you want to try a new model, you can turn it on and say, no, this is not working. You can turn it off, right? So
Yeah,
use
yeah,
those feature flags.
we can do that. Yeah, for sure. We will need to start to do it. In the beginning, like it was just me, so I didn't have too much. Like I'm going to use feature flag, like an old school developer. I'm going to just write it. It's nothing gonna break anything, and that was the starting point.
Mhm.
But now that we are growing, for sure, we are going to have separate environments and everything, for like we can start actually playing around with all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, get
But
your CI/CD
let me show
pipelines.
you our demo. Do you want to see Q
Oh
in
yeah, yeah,
action?
yeah. Let's see it.
Okay, so this is the portal. When if you are a user group leader, you go in here. In here, you will see the what Q offers you as a user group leader. What is the functionality that is the same that I already discussed in here. This is the team that are part of the of Q. We have uh, two community builders. We have some Amazonians, and we also have volunteers of the user group of Guatemala in here. So we are working good on that. And in here, you just click and go and create your account. You create your account, and then you can register your user group. It's pretty simple. It's like you are creating a new email account. Really simple to do it, and you're only gonna take like 2 minutes to actually have it, your community in queue. Okay.
Yeah, and this account is meant for, like I said, like user group leaders or people that are
Yes.
organizing these events to be able to
Yes.
leverage that part of the tooling. So if you're simply using Q for learning or knowing what communities there are, which one you
Yeah.
can
You don't
register
need
for,
to
and all that,
register
you don't need to.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
You don't
it's
need to register. This is only for the leaders, because like I mentioned, all the work behind these events and everything, they need like a place that they can see their events that are created, adding more information. For example, for a community day, you have the information about the community day, but you also have the what is the link for the call for papers. Do you need where the person go to register, and all that information? You have a specific website, for example. All that information, the user group leader needs to put this information in there for Q can provide it to the user. Okay, so that's
okay.
why they have the website for them. Now, Q in web is pretty much like this. In here, when you get in, you have three examples of question what you can start to do in Q. They It's not going to answer only this question. You can answer whatever you want, but that's just an example, right? And basically, uh, you're gonna ask about the communities, the articles, or even you can tell it what a part of you, especially that you want to start learning, and you will get the information that you need. You get the links for the articles. You will get the links to actually can join a community, and you can also have uh, like the study guides. Soon we're gonna add the ramp up guides for AWS. We're gonna add it to Q for you can have like the guide specialized if you want to change or focus your career or something in a different path. For example, if you want to be like a data sciences, so you can focus on that part. If you can want to go and do it like security, you can have the information that you need related to that. So we are working on that part also. But for now you can ask them and they're going to give you the information. You can also ask about the certification, and you can say you will know what is the different focus that you need to study for your certification. And he can provide you the information so you can go deep in that. So if you see, you don't have to register in here. You only go, get in, and use it. In the future, we're like I said, we're planning to add in more functionality in here for you can have like a history of your conversation also, because we are storing that information. You want to
Mhm.
see that part. This is the part that you're gonna ask for about the events, and if you see, you got the link for this event that's gonna happen in this month, and you will
Mhm.
see. And I can come back to that part if you want, like this. You're asking about an event that's gonna happen. He said, "You this is the link of the event itself, so you can click in here. And once you click, you're gonna have the information directly that the community create, and you can go and see details of the event, register, and go on. All right. So, uh, like one of the main goals of Q is bring all the effort that all the community is doing behind it, and just doing one question you just have it. So that's our goal, and we have it for different countries. Right now in we are in Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, Guatemala, Chile, um, Londres. We have a user group in there. So yeah, we are growing. Like I said,
It's global, right? I'll
is global.
register the first US one if there isn't one yet.
Yeah.
I'll get it there.
Yeah, and I want to show you something else. Let me see if I can. So in here you can attend regardless the articles, and you will see what kind of articles they are recommend you. There are also
And
you
the
can ask
language, right? So it's-
for a yeah. For example, you can ask for a specific author if you want to see. I want to see all the articles that Andres Moreno write. You will see the articles of your articles, and that's the goal. Okay. And the other part from that list, I want to show you how Q is in WhatsApp.
okay.
And
Yeah,
in
that's
here
the first one. How it
is
started.
the first one. And Q is also responding in different language. We are in the previous one, we said that was answering you in Spanish. In here is answering you in Portuguese. That's why we are in Brazil. And there Q will reply you in the language that you ask for. So if you go and start the conversation in Portuguese, it's going to respond in Portuguese. It's going to reply in Portuguese. And in here, we try with Italian. They are replying Italian. If you ask in in English, it's going to reply you in English. And in the last part that I put in here in this demo, I ask in Chinese and
Oh,
Q reply in Chinese. So,
okay. So it's, yeah, truly, I guess all languages are handled, or
yeah,
most
all
languages.
languages that the model handle, because this
Okay, yeah.
was a fun part when I was starting to see, to I get the challenge to say I need to Q get all the language they can because I want to go global. I
Mhm.
was thinking that I would need to translate all the answers. And I went to the channel in the community builders that we have all that time, and I asked them, look, I want to do this, maybe I can translate here. And they started giving me advices and tell me, no, you can do it only with the model. Really? And they started giving how can I improve my prompts and everything. And all the translation is only doing in base of the prompt that the agent is having. So it saved us a lot of work, because I was doing in the old school that I'm going to translate everything.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
learned something and it's really
Yeah,
cool.
so it automatically returns based on the language, or you're
Yes.
sending like a pre-prompt, like, hey, respond in the language that they send it to
Yes,
into you, right?
respond in the
So
language that the user is the input of the user, and that's it.
that was
And
much
I was,
easier than you translating everything,
yeah, I want to
right?
translate everything, but now it's easier and it doesn't
Yes.
take a lot of time. Q was born in August of last year for the first part of it, so it doesn't have even a year, and we have a lot of functionalities in there that in when I started to create an application, kind of application took years to build it. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy that they only have in like this time,
Yeah,
and we don't
it's
have like a full time. So
it's awesome to see. I mean, it's just how technology has evolved, right? And it's a
yeah.
mix of the services provided by AWS, and add to it the all the AI revolution that's happening for the past few years, right? So all that is just great things that allow you to build. In the article you wrote like a month ago, it mentions this the initial prototype or the initial version of this took you
Yes.
like 6 days, right?
Yes,
So
the first time it took me like 10 days to actually do it, by reading the documentation and building everything. And because I
that's
was
incredible.
organizing the community day in the meantime, so I was really in my nights was coding, but it was good.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
not the last, like I mentioned before, we are looking for developers. If you are watching this and you're interested about learning with us, because we are a bunch of builders learning together, if you want to join us, you're welcome to. You only have to go into our LinkedIn page and fill up the form, and we'll contact you for trying to build this together. What we offer back for your effort, we are offering good times trying to debug debugging bugs. We're
It's
gonna have
friendships.
fun.
We established those are friendships.
Yes. No, and you're gonna have like the real environment behind a production application, because when you are learning, pretty much you're gonna create a different projects, but none of these projects go live. This project is live, and we are trying to learn and survive with it. So it is fun because everything that we build is go directly to production, and we test it, and every issue or bug that we found, we're trying to solve it, and we do it together. So it is fun to do it. Also, we are offering like $100 of credits of AWS if you're joined the team, and you're gonna have all the recognition on our social media, and also you will receive a swag from Q. So if you want to have a swag, please join us. I don't have Q in here. I forget to get it. But I don't know if you see the picture from Reinvent. Q was famous, and now
Yeah, the
the
little plushy toy.
yeah, I have a toy of Q. So you're gonna have a swag for that, right?
And looking at all that is involved in Q, right? There's opportunity like with pure backend, front end, Gen AI, and you're
Yes.
looking into adding several environments. I'm assuming like even DevOps kind of work, right? So there's stuff for everybody. Whatever you like to
Yes.
do, I think you should register and help out and build this great community. What did we call it? Virtual cloud guide.
Yeah. just your buddy. You're gonna help you to learn about AWS. That's much
Yeah,
important.
and if you're at this point, if you're not watching live, if you're at this point and want to get to the LinkedIn page, the QR code at the in the first slide should be able to take you to that.
Yes, and that's all was prepared for me. I only added in here at the the last slide. I promise. This is only about who I am. We have I had in here like the different things that I like to do. I like coding. I like running a community. I I didn't translate this one, see, but I love reading books. The cats I'm playing with my kids. I am a mom. I have two kids, and I live in Guatemala. So if you scan this, you can follow me, and each follower and each like is counting and make me happy. So if you not follow me, please do so. Right,
Well,
and that's
this
it.
was great. It's a really thank you for taking the time to talk to me about this pretty awesome project. I want to congratulate you because it's a great project. Usually, these fun projects to learn and play don't like you said they just stay there. But making it out of your just you, right, and having other countries, not just Guatemala, using it as well and growing past even continents is pretty incredible. So, congratulations to you and the rest of the team that are building this. And I really encourage anybody interested in learning something new and helping out to fill out that form and register to become part of that team. So, thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
thank you, and thank you for the invitation to having discussion. This was really fun to do it. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and
I'm
we'll
gonna stop
talk later.
sharing.
Oh yeah. But let's say bye bye.
Yeah, thank you for everything, and bye bye.